Hey everybody, so here we are back again with this ASUS Essentio series tower. I featured this in a video earlier this year. When I received this computer, it literally sounded like a box of rocks because it had a bunch of loose screws and stuff inside of it. But it was no real big deal. I thought at first this system was a goner because I could not get this thing to run. But I eventually got it running, and turns out the motherboard and everything was okay. So what I've done since is I have installed a 512 gig solid state drive in here, and also the power supply that was in this thing, it was a 650 watt, I think it's 650 watt non-modular unit, so there were cables everywhere. So I swapped it out for a smaller unit, that way I could better manage the cables, and this unit should also be able to provide enough power for the system even with the graphics card. So let's go ahead and have a look at our specs here. So we have an Intel Core i7 2600 CPU, 3.4 gigahertz, 8 gigs of memory, and of course the 512 gig solid state drive. And I would say this system, even in stock form, is just a little step over an Optiplex 390, at least the 390s that I have. Those have the i5 2400 CPU, so very similar to that in a way. So a quick peek through the UEFI SEP utility. Nothing really too much to see here. No overclocking options or anything like that, because it's basically an OEM board. Although it is an ASUS motherboard, it's an OEM based board, so it has all of the fancy stuff disabled or not included altogether. So again, not too much to see here. Not bad though for an older system like this from like 2011, 2012 to have a UEFI BIOS. So of course this system came with Windows 7, and of course y'all probably know what's coming next. Well, of course you will probably see in the title of this video, but we're going to put the cover back on this thing, and we're going to install Windows 11 on this thing. Okay, so now I get cover back on, and let's go move on to our next step. And I should note, of course, this computer does not meet the Microsoft Elite Class minimum system requirements for Windows 11. And of course, here it is, 2025, with Windows 10 support ending soon. I think a lot of people nowadays, especially those who are tech savvy, are going to be bypassing those Elite Class system requirements, and that's why I call them the Microsoft Elite Class requirements, because they're a big scam. I'd actually covered this in a recent video showing just how fast an unsupported system based off of similar hardware, basically an Optiplex 390, how fast it boots Windows 11 24H2, and let's just say that, yeah, it's ridiculous. So this flash drive here, what I did is I set up using Rufus, and this was with Windows 11 23H2, but what I also had done more recently was I copied over the files for 24H2, particularly the install.win file. That way I retained the classic Windows pre-installation environment, because let's just say the pre-installation environment with Windows 11 24H2 sucks dearly. So let's go ahead and insert this flash drive. And let's go ahead and restart this machine. So currently it has nothing on it right now, so it should go right into setup. Not sure which key this thing wants for the boot menu. Okay, never mind. I guess we're going to find out in a moment if it started up in EFI mode or in classic mode. Okay, so I looked again. Apparently this system is kind of odd. It's got a UEFI firmware, but it's from like 2011, so it's one of those odd machines to where it has a UEFI firmware, but it does not support the UEFI boot that modern computers support. So it's one of the reasons why my Windows 11 installation media can boot off of either classic BIOS or UEFI, so we can still install on computers like this that of course don't meet the Elite Class system requirements, but do have a CPU new enough to support 24H2, yet still have just a classic system BIOS. So here we are. We're going to install it the old-fashioned way, I guess. So let's go ahead and begin installation and let this run. Okay, let's go run through setup here. And of course, since we have this install setup using Rufus, we can bypass the internet connectivity requirement. I noticed in our power supply this thing's making a little bit of noise. It's not the first time I've seen one do that. So I'll probably have to swap the power supply again for something else. Something that's a little quieter. Funny thing is I just recapped that unit. I didn't do a full recap, but I replaced all the large capacitors on the secondary side that were bulging, but I don't know. So we'll give this thing a moment to get the taskbar to come up. It always takes a little while on the first startup. Okay, so we got our taskbar up now, so we'll go ahead and connect this thing to the internet and we'll let it install drivers and all that good stuff. Okay everybody, so right after I stop recording, the system blue screen, I suspect I know what's up. So watch this thing start up. We have the network cable plugged in this time. So I have a video on this exact issue. So I'm going to disconnect the network cable and watch what happens this time. So again, I have a video on this exact issue. It has to do with an outdated Realtek network driver that's included in the Windows 11 image, or the Windows 11 installation files. So you can see with the network cable disconnected, it loads up just fine. Okay, so I've loaded the necessary drivers onto my flash drive and pop the flash drive back in. So let's go ahead and go into Device Manager and let's have a look at what's currently installed for the network driver. So there it is, Realtek PCI Express Gigabit Ethernet Family Controller. The driver is provided by Microsoft, has a date of March 31st, 2015, driver version 9.1.412.2015. So let's go ahead and fetch the needed driver. Now the thing is, shortly after I posted that video, Realtek seemed to have taken down the server or the location where those files are stored. So I got to figure out where to find this driver again. So let's see here. Oh, it's actually an installation wizard. So we're going to run this installation wizard. Yeah, that power supply is definitely making some noise. I think it might be something to do with the primary. Maybe a capacitor bad on the primary side. I've actually had one make far more noise. But this driver is installing. Okay, it's finished installing. Now let's go have a look. So this driver is by Realtek, October 14th, 2022. Driver version 10.63.1014.2022. So October 14th, 2022. Much newer driver. So now let's go ahead and plug in the network cable and let's see if the system crashes. Network cable is plugged in. We are connected to the network. Okay, there we are. No crash this time. So this system, which is much newer than my QP Plexi over there, also had the same issue. You know what these two systems, this one and the Plexi, have in common? ASUS motherboards. Interesting to know. So we'll let this machine here install updates and other necessary stuff, and I'll come back and install some software, and we'll come back in this video with some startup and shutdown tests, all that good stuff. Okay, so a little update on the system. So shortly after I stopped recording the last clip, I've begun to experience issues with the system, which I believe were directly related to that power supply I was making all that racket. So I swapped it out for another one just like the one I had in it. This one also needed a recap, and I had just recapped it about an hour ago and slapped it in this thing. Well, of course, I back porch tested it first, make sure it didn't blow up or nothing crazy. Put it in this thing, and this one's much quieter, and everything's been working just fine. And I noticed something interesting, and I'll have to talk about that in a later video, but this is the power supply I pulled out of it. Again, did a partial recap on it, and I might have figured out why it was acting crazy. I don't know for sure just yet, but that'll be in a future video. But it's back up and running, and we are currently installing updates. And I should note that when you install Windows 11 or Windows 10 on a system, it's important that you go into advanced options in Windows Update and check the optional updates, because this thing had like 18 or so driver updates, and there's still one listed there that I skipped. I meant to go back and actually I'm going to go ahead and select that one, add it to the list. But there was like 18 or so different drivers in there that were needed. I mean, SM bus drivers, chipset drivers, display drivers, all that good stuff. It's important those get installed. Sometimes I wonder why they get pushed to optional updates like that. Kind of crazy. Okay, everybody, so I've taken some time to go ahead and get all the updates and stuff installed on this thing, and I've also installed a few different pieces of software like Google Chrome and stuff like that. And let's go and get this thing a start, see how it runs. This will be fast startup mode. That's quick. Definitely not bad for a system that doesn't meet the Microsoft Elite Class system requirements for Windows 11. Yet here we are running Windows 11 24H2. Pretty snappy. I mean, there are computers that meet the system requirements for Windows 11 that actually run it slower than this. So it looks like in 24H2 you get a little summary of your system specs up top, which is pretty cool. It tells you how much storage you have. It's actually a 512 gig SSD, but of course it appears different than Windows. Our graphics card is a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 550 Ti. It tells you the system RAM on the graphics card. It is a 1 GB card. 8 gigs of DDR3 memory, and of course our Intel Core i7 2600 CPU, 3.4 GHz, which is well below the 8th gen Intel CPU requirement for Windows 11. So yeah, and what's funny is we got these frequently asked questions in here. But yeah, so there's the specs again. Windows 11 Home, 24H2. And just for the heck of it, let's go and do a normal startup. Basically, we're restarting the system, which when you do a restart in Windows 11, 10, and 8, it starts up Windows in the conventional startup mode, not the fast startup mode. So you're getting a full restart in that case. So it will take a little longer. Of course, it takes a little longer in the conventional startup mode, but still very respectable. I mean, considering this computer originally came with Windows 7, for goodness sakes. And it just comes to show that really you only need to do some minor upgrades to your existing computer in order for it to run Windows 11. Now, of course, it won't meet the system requirements. Again, as I call them, the Microsoft Elite class system requirements. But it just comes to show that computers that are being deemed as e-waste by Microsoft are still very well capable of actually running this OS. I mean, system requirements, I mean, it's ridiculous. For example, we'll do a little bit of YouTube browsing, why not? So you can see, now of course, I mean, here's QQ channel. Watching videos should be pretty straightforward on something like this. Should have no problem running full HD. Now of course I don't have sound on this. The computer is capable of playing sound, I still have sound hooked up. Pretty crazy stuff here. This is my new home before it was relocated to my current site, and the electrical setup on the home was there was something sketchy about it. Someone had installed a 240 volt pump at the dock, because this was a lakefront home, and you can see they did a very shady job of actually wiring this in. You just don't do this kind of stuff. And look how close that ground wire is to the bus there. That's very dangerous. But yeah, crazy stuff. But you can see, I mean, what else can I say? I think it runs quite well. So again, Windows 11 24H2. Chances are you've probably seen it before. But in case you have an older computer that you're looking to replace with a new system because it does not meet the requirements of Windows 11, really, I mean, when Windows 11 first came out, I used to advise against bypassing the requirements, but nowadays I'm like, I'm almost to the point of supporting it, because it's just ridiculous seeing perfectly capable computer hardware getting trashed or e-cycled because, oh, it doesn't have TPM 2.0, or it has a Intel 7th gen CPU. It's something ridiculous like that. So anyways, this computer, which arrived to me in non-working condition, originally sounded like a box of rocks, is back up and running, and it's definitely a capable system. So anyways, that wraps up for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.